With their short sleeves, shades, and Kawasaki's, Ponch and John were the coolest cops on television in the late 1970s and early 1980s. The two California Highway Patrol riders delivered action, laughs, and a little dash of disco dancing to television sets. Hey, there was a reason it was aired on Saturday night for a while. The series made Eric Estrada and Larry Wilcox stars in pin-ups. All the kids on the block zipped around on bikes, imagining themselves as CHiPs officers. There were dolls, trading cards, and lunchboxes. CHiPs lasted for 6 seasons, cruising through some cast shake-ups, and ended on a season filled with enough robots, UFOs, and rock bands to make it at home in the 1966 lineup. Caitlyn Jenner once replaced Eric Estrada. When Estrada left the series during the beginning of its 5th season of a salary dispute, producers hired Olympian Caitlyn, then Bruce Jenner, to replace him. The athlete, who was already working for NBC Sports as a commentator, also happened to be an experienced motorcyclist. When Estrada came to an agreement with MGM and returned to work, Jenner's character slowly evaporated from the series, lasting just 7 episodes in total. Eric Estrada and Larry Wilcox did not get along. On screen, co-stars Estrada and Wilcox had each other's backs. Off camera? Different story. When Wilcox got married in 1980, he told People magazine he made a point of not inviting Estrada and noted the two had argued ever since the show began. I thought it was asinine to pick someone just for being photogenic. He said of Estrada's casting, Eric and I are just totally different human beings and I can't get a good relationship going. Describing it as an ego problem, Wilcox said Estrada was not his best charm and never will be. The cops almost never drew their guns. For a cop show, CHiPs had a pretty conservative approach to ammunition. According to some fan tallies, a gun was drawn by police in just 3 out of 139 episodes, and never by Estrada or Wilcox. Estrada told ABC News that the show's 8 p.m. family time slot contributed to the pacifistic approach. It was about helping pedestrians, people in trouble, young kids who are straying, he said. Estrada was badly hurt doing a stunt. Unlike many of the actors working in a primetime today, Estrada insisted on doing many of his own motorcycle stunts. While shooting a 1979 episode, the actor was critically injured after he lost control of his bike while cruising around for a scene. Braking abruptly, he flew into a parked car chest first, the bike landing on top of him. He broke 8 ribs, his sternum, his collarbone, and his wrist. When he returned to work, MGM gifted him with a $100,000 Rolls-Royce Corniche. Not to be outdone, Wilcox flipped his motorcycle the following year and suffered a concussion. Wilcox left the show. With the tension between Wilcox and Estrada unresolved, Wilcox elected to leave the show just as it was beginning its 6th and final season. The character of Baker was replaced with Bobby Hot Dog Nelson, Tom Rayleigh, with the switch prompting a decline in ratings. Rayleigh made news in December of 1982, when United Press International reported he was arrested by actual motorcycle officers for suspicion of driving while under the influence of drugs. Rayleigh pled innocent to the charges, his role was reduced, and the series was eventually cancelled. Estrada inspired the Village People cop. Though he didn't get top billing in the show, Estrada's blindingly wide smile and good looks quickly became a pop culture staple. According to TV Guide, Estrada's appearance had some major influence over Victor Willis of the Village People. Willis took notice of his extra-tight patrol uniform and adopted it for his role as the cop in the musical group. Critics and media observers were indelicate in describing CHiPs' ratings performance during its first season, from 1977 to 1978, describing it as dreadful. The show's fortunes improved in season 2, when NBC moved it from Thursdays to Saturdays, and where it began winning its time slot. The title for syndication made no sense. After completing 5 seasons, CHiPs was sold into syndication in the fall of 1982. To help avoid viewer confusion between reruns and new episodes, MGM retitled it CHiPs Patrol. This was redundant, as CHP is an acronym for California Highway Patrol, making the complete series name California Highway Patrol Patrol. The toys weren't built to last. Mega Toy Company was quick to pounce on the popularity of the series, offering 8-inch action figures and vehicles. Their CHiPs products were said to have reused a lot of molds from other lines, Ponzi's motorcycle, Klingon boots from Star Trek, but the real disappointment came when the Punch and John figures sat on shelves for too long. Owing to Mega's uneven quality control, the plastic used for the bodies seemed to react poorly with the plastic on the packaging, tinting their heads from flesh-colored to a sickly grey. Collectors call it zombie disease, and it's reputed to be potentially toxic. Wilcox got busted. In 2010, media had a delightful time with the irony of Wilcox finding himself on the other side of the law. The actor was arrested and charged with securities fraud. According to Sun Sentinel, Wilcox had unwittingly solicited kickbacks to fund his mining business from an undercover FBI agent in 2009. To help avoiding serious repercussions, Wilcox wore wire for authorities to nab 2 others involved in the scheme. In 2011, a judge sentenced him to 3 years of probation.